I'm just gonna get right into it. So I've been offline for 6 days and I was thinking about all the times that I said to people and to myself, I was too busy to get this done. I didn't get this done because I was so busy. There's times that I'd go into uni and me and my friends would be talking about how far along we've got on our coursework. And I would be like, no, I didn't do much because I was busy. Thinking back on those times, what the busy that I was talking about was sitting in my bed and doing this. And I just had to check myself because that is not being busy. That's not utilizing your time correctly. And we are way too young to be doom scrolling our life away on all of these social media apps that were made to fry your attention span. Like, guys, if you do not have the attention span to get a task done, to do your work without getting bored, then how are you going to succeed in life? How are you going to fulfill your calling? How are you going to make businesses? How are you going to have the patience to wait for it to grow and flourish? We really need to think closely and carefully about all the content we're consuming as well, because some people spend upwards of 6 hours on TikTok per day. What are you taking in? Do you even remember the last 10 videos or even 2 videos you watched once you close that app? There's times that I would be scrolling on TikTok before bed especially, and I would literally just feel like a zombie. And that's what made me take this 6-day social media fast. I've been posting on TikTok for about a year and I amassed a following of 17,000. I think I'm currently at like I was at 17.7 6 days ago, and it could have changed from then, but 17K. And so for me, I would scroll and I would tell myself that, yeah, I'm just getting inspiration on what to post. I'm getting topics to talk about, this, that, and the third. But majority of the videos that I've posted over the past year have not been about online discourse. It's been coming from my mind, coming from what I've thought, coming from my opinions about things that I've got away from the phone. I noticed that I think better when the phone is down, when I'm not looking at the phone, when I'm allowing myself time to actually sit with my thoughts and gather opinions about stuff. And so last week, Thursday, right, I was scrolling, and I think I spent like 4 hours just scrolling on TikTok. I just sat there and I had work to do, mind you. I just sat there afterwards and I looked at my phone and I looked at myself and I felt disgusted. I literally felt physically sick. I sat there and I deeped my life. I thought to myself, what have you just spent the last 4 hours consuming? Why are you subjecting yourself, your eyes, to this pain? Because if you're a doom scroller, you know that it gets to a certain point where your eyes are feeling strained. That's why I bought blue light glasses. They're on my windowsill. I'm not going to get them, but I bought blue light glasses. I don't wear glasses, right? But the glasses you see me wearing in my TikToks, if you follow me there, are blue light glasses. I got them because my eyes would hurt after hours of scrolling, and I'd put them on and then they would feel a bit better. I had the glasses on my face. I was looking at my phone and I was just sitting there feeling like trash after consuming all this content that means nothing. After looking at the most vile and degenerate things, I just felt like what I had consumed. And I want you guys to be so careful about, first of all, whatever you take in, because I know that not everybody is spiritual, guys, but your eyes are a gateway. Whatever you see is what you become. If you're surrounded by success, you know that it will influence you to be successful. So if you're taking in filth, degeneracy, if that's a word, I hope it is, it's just like stupid, mindless content, especially, guys, hot takes. On TikTok, the style of content that I do, I would describe it as like my opinions on stuff. Sometimes I give hot takes because that is what the algorithm likes. However, be careful about who you're listening to. Because TikTok is a very extreme app, you need to first have a good hook. You need to have a hot take. You need to drive the point home. A lot of the content creators that you see making these hot takes do not even feel as passionately about what they're talking about as you would think. They get off the app and they don't think about what they've just put out there again. And I'm not joking. How do I know? Because when I first started posting, my hot takes would go viral. So I would post them and I would maybe think about it for 2 days, and after that, never again. But if you watch the video, obviously you have to speak with a lot of conviction and vitriol and all this. You would think that this is something that is on my mind. So when I would post like videos in my initial stages of posting about the manipulative tactics of men, I had like a whole series. I would post these videos and obviously I'm giving passion, I'm giving enthusiasm, I'm talking about my own experiences. But once I would close the app, I wouldn't, and after a couple of days would go by, I would not be thinking about these things. But I would get so much hate from men who would be like, you hate men, why are you hating men, this, that, and the third. And I would just be so blown, like I would be so annoyed, because I would be thinking, mate, I'm not thinking about men. I'm not just sitting here seething at the mouth at everything that's been done to me. I post my vids and I go about my day. The style of content looks like I'm so invested. However, half the time I may not be. This is one of the reasons why I want to transition to long form content. I'm tired of exaggerating or having to pull vitriol out of myself for a viral video, especially because, yeah, and I'm gonna be so honest, what made me deep it was the new transition that has happened on TikTok where it's been sold to a certain country. So the algorithm is completely different. I got used to an algorithm that I was posting on for a year. I knew what would do well. Obviously, you learn the algorithm. So I got used to that algorithm. This algorithm is not as rewarding as the old one. For the past, like, I think 2 months, it's been weird for 2 months. I would post these takes and they wouldn't do well. Videos that would have done well in the old algorithm are not doing well in this one. And so I just really sat there and I thought to myself, I'm not lying about my opinions. My delivery might be dramatic at times. However, it felt like a fair exchange to kind of give the TikTok package, right? The hook, the this, the that, because I'm already a dramatic person, if you can't tell. I'm very animated, so it didn't take much to kind of tone it up a bit more. And this is what people do online anyways. Even on YouTube, right? To some degree, you're presenting the best, most dramatic version of yourself that will translate well on camera. So that was fine, but sometimes when I wouldn't feel like doing it, or sometimes when I would get a lot of backlash, because obviously the take is delivered with so much like extremism at times, or like vitriol. When I saw that I wasn't getting the same rewards of the followers and the likes and the shares and the following that I was trying to build, it wasn't even getting pushed in the same way. I just had to sit there and really deep it, like, is this something that I even enjoy anymore? Because when I first started posting, I don't feel like I was doing as much of the TikTok package, you know what I mean, at this point. I don't feel like I was doing it that much. As the months went on though, and I saw the benefits of kind of using hooks and kind of like captions that were a bit dramatic, right? I was like, okay, yeah, this is something that I'm gonna do. And let me just say this again. I'm not saying that if you look through my page, all my takes are like not what I think. No, these are my thoughts. I had a rule that I'm not going to ever put out things I don't agree with, or that I won't be willing to stand by just for engagement. I agree with every one of my takes. However, delivering it is what I'm talking about, the delivery of it. Because if you can't tell, guys, I'm not somebody who speaks very loud. I'm a very calm speaker. But if you watch my videos, I'm shouting in like half of them. So when people would catch me on TikTok live, they'll be like, I've never seen you this calm. I'm not somebody who screams or shouts or talks loud very often. So this is my normal speaking voice. But obviously on TikTok, you have to do all, if you do this, then you're... Maybe I wasn't that dramatic, but like, you get what I'm saying. After a while of doing it and seeing that the algorithm is no longer even rewarding the hooks, you know, the dramaticism, I thought to myself, mate, I'm low-key kind of over this, actually. I'm low-key actually over this. Does it suck that it took me not getting that validation, right? Because when you post, you're looking to get the validation of it going viral, of the comments, of the likes. Does it suck that it took me not getting that to see this? Yes, it does. But I'm here to be honest. I'm not here to lie, guys. I'm a human being. I saw that it was no longer even giving the rewards of increasing my following, which is what everybody who's posting is looking for. And so I just decided, let me just take a break. Let me just lock in with my work. Let me lock in with God, okay? Because TikTok had taken over my life. 1 month ago, I was in Uganda. I'm Ugandan. And the internet went off for, I think it was 7 days, 6 days, because it was election. That's just something that happens in the country, unfortunately. And so I was forced to touch grass for 6 days. And when I was not on the phone, when I wasn't posting, when I didn't have access to internet, period, I felt so good. Obviously not the first 2 days, but after that, I felt amazing. Like, I could think properly, I could think clearer. So coming back from Uganda, obviously that whole month of January when I was there, I came back on like the 15th or the 20th or something. After coming back from Uganda, right, and knowing and experiencing how it feels to just reconnect with yourself, getting lost back in the doom scroll, I knew exactly what to do to clear my mind again. And so I've taken 6 days of posting, and I'm going to tell you guys a bit about, that was a long intro. I'm just going to share with you guys what I learned, what I observed, and what I have taken from my 6 days offline. So the first point that I've got here is that you aren't busy, you just prioritize doom scrolling over what you had to do. We have 24 hours in a day. Say you wake up at, okay, 1, you'll be awake until maybe, you know, we're Gen Z, so 1 a.m. That's a whole 12 hours. If you spent half of your day, 6 hours on TikTok, doom scrolling, and then you said to yourself at the end of the day, oh, I didn't have time to do my work. No, you had the time. You just didn't utilize your time correctly. You just didn't do what you were supposed to do. And so you're here trying to make yourself feel better by telling yourself that you were too busy. The time was readily available to you. You had the Wi-Fi to get online and do your assignments. You didn't use the Wi-Fi. You didn't use your resources. Instead, you consumed 6 hours worth of hot takes, rage bait, degenerate content that you don't even remember. And if you do, it's because it made you feel either anger or sadness or happiness. But you rarely ever get the happiness, if you've noticed, with these TikTok algorithms. You rarely get that. You get these two: anger and sadness. You had the time. You did. If you're the same age as me, I'm 20. If you're within the brackets of like 20 to even 30 to 35, you are young. These are your developmental years you're supposed to be building for your future. Why are you spending 6 hours scrolling? Why don't you spend 3 of those hours learning a new skill, learning or developing something that you've always wanted to develop? You have the time, but you are choosing to spend it doom scrolling. And so not having time is not a good excuse, which leads into my second point. You are a result of your algorithm. You are a result of what you consume. You know the saying, you are who you hang out with. You are what you eat. It goes for social media. If you are taking in 6 hours, even 2 hours a day worth of content that is tailored to make you happy, you're in a very dangerous position. Because whatever you think is being reaffirmed to you. When do you have time to reassess your beliefs and grow? When all the takes you're getting are reaffirming your opinions, or they're going against your opinions. They're putting those opposite takes on your page to rage bait you into solidifying your opinion even more. When do you get time to step back and think to yourself, what do I think? Not what does this person think, this person think, this person think. No, what do I think? You are a result of your algorithm. When is the last time you came up with an opinion without consuming a hot take? Just think, even about the things that are happening in the world right now, the things that are devastating and disgusting everybody. What do you think about that? Besides from the hot takes you've seen, and obviously feeling outraged by the information you've received, what do you think? How does it make you feel? There's people that I've met, and after talking to them for 15 minutes, I can just tell exactly what your TikTok algorithm feeds you. I know exactly what kind of content you're watching. And the irony is the people posting this content, like I said, half of the time, they aren't even as convicted on what they're saying as you become. Because you take it in. You internalize it. You keep on getting the same videos because the algorithm is seeing you're watching them to the end, watching them to the end. You are being programmed. You may think you have control over what you think and your opinions and what you align with, but you actually don't. You do not. I've been fed up with TikTok for a long time now. Like, I've been fed up of the kinds of content that I've been seeing. I've been fed up of what you have to do now to go viral and to get a viral video. And I'm seeing people's morals dwindling by the day. I'm seeing people's, if they even had any moral compasses, just going astray. Like that one guy that was pouring milk on himself and doing whatever, 6'2", are you okay? Are you actually, and I'm not talking directly to him, okay? Let me not even address him. When you start to get to that point where you're pouring milk over yourself and acting like you have no sense, just for a few likes and just for a few bucks or pounds from the creator fund, you need to put your phone down. We're gonna forget about that guy in like 2 years, even in 8 months. We're gonna forget about him unless he continues acting like a jester. When I saw that video on my For You page, I was disgusted. I was jarred. Why am I seeing this? This is stupid. You've wasted 1 minute of my time. You need to value your time. Why are you watching stupidity? That video was so jarring to see. What are you even doing in a grocery store? But let me not even lay into him, okay? And then now you watch that video. If you watch it till the end, scroll, you have a stitch of it. But this is how the algorithm works. You then get a stitch of the video. Scroll down once more, you might get a video that's tailored to be a bit more degenerate because they can see you're feeling a bit degenerate today, right? You're feeding your body filth visually. And so when you become filthy, lazy, a procrastinator, when you don't get your work done, when you're rushing your coursework because you've given all your time to the algorithm, TikTok, scrolling, you become a bum. What do you do? What do you get up to besides scrolling? What are your hobbies? When's the last time that you sat down and read a book? No, literally, when is the last time you read something? I just want you guys to be wise with what you're spending your time on. I'm not saying that I'm going to stop posting on TikTok. That's where I have my biggest platform. And I will be going live there. I enjoy live now more than posting because I can actually talk in a long format. It just will be a bit different. It will be a bit different, and if my views tank, then so be it. I'm tired of adding to that toxic algorithm. I'm just gonna more so be using my TikTok as like a digital diary. I have 3K on Instagram, 17K on TikTok, but I enjoy posting on Instagram more. If you don't follow me there, follow me there. if you want, because it's like a public spam page. It feels more natural because I'm just posting whatever I want. I post on my stories regularly, and the same videos I post on TikTok, I post on Instagram. But Instagram for me feels more natural because the algorithm is different. If you just post hot takes, you're not necessarily going to get a following. And I've seen that the videos that do well on my Instagram are just videos where I'm maybe telling a story or like short relatable videos. It just feels more chill. So I like Instagram more. So I'm not saying that I'm not going to post on TikTok again. Like, it's just, if you see my content switching up and you see that I'm more, let's say, more me, you know, I'm not screaming in your face as much, you know why. Because obviously sometimes I'm still going to raise my voice. Like, I don't always talk at this level. This is just how I talk naturally though. So if you see more of this, which you will, then this is the reason why, guys. Get off your phone and go outside. Don't feel like I'm judging you in this video. I've been where you are literally 6 days ago. And I'm telling you, you're wasting your life. Do something substantial with your time. Do something that you'll remember in a week. Do you remember the past 2 weeks of your life? Except for the things that you did off the phone? Start making memories. Get off the algorithm. Stop being a slave to your devices. And that's where I'll leave this video.